Previously, on 2 Up and Overloaded, we got ready to do something we'd never done before. Ride 2 Up on a small 150cc motorcycle. Our friend Lee let us borrow his Honda RS 150R bike to take a day trip and ride from the city of Kuching all the way to the beginning of the Pan-Borneo highway, a place known as Kilometer 0. But the problem was that Lee was going to be riding his huge BMW 1200 GS, and we were unsure if we'd be able to comfortably keep up on a tiny 150cc motorcycle, especially with 2 people on it.
So we mounted this massive beast.
No, it's so small.
Of a scooter cycle. It's not a scooter, it is a motorized cycle.
It is actually not a scooter.
It's got gears and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like a pass-through, you know, like where you can just put you have to mount the beast. But we got on, we got super excited.
So excited, we have this long journey ahead of us.
Yeah. And we make it like 3 blocks and
come to a stop.
We stop. But it was an amazing 3 blocks.
Well, it was for breakfast, so this is a very important reason to stop.
Yeah. Lee was going to be our tour guide for the day.
All in pavement, no off-road.
Nice!
Okay? Hope you guys interested and you will see the road, how is it.
So we were going to the very beginning of the Pan-Borneo highway that stretches actually almost all the way around the huge island of Borneo. Yeah. But most prominently, it goes from one side of East Malaysia to the other side of East Malaysia. And we were going to the very beginning of this. With a long day ahead of us, we ate our food quickly and jumped back on the bikes, heading off to embark on our first real motorcycle adventure in East Malaysia, a ride to where it all begins at Kilometer 0. Here we go. But having ridden across Indonesia on our previous motorcycle, a Bajaj Pulsar 220 that we rode 2 Up and Overloaded as we do, it had not been the best experience. And so we were a little worried about how an even smaller motorcycle, a Honda RS 150, was going to fare. This is the story of what we discovered that day and how it forever changed our perspective of small motorcycles.
Hey everyone, nice to have you here. We are Tim
and Marissa, no tear.
I ride in the front
and I'm in the rear.
We travel the world and we pack too much gear.
Oh, all the places we'll go.
Through rain and through sleet and through mud and through snow.
Oh, all the things we'll see.
We've been to a country or 2
or 3. Oh, all the fun we've had.
You along would make us real glad.
So give us a like and
hit subscribe to join us along our epic ride. So once we were on the actual road and had made it past the 3 block mark, the suspension actually floated. Like we didn't bottom out. Like, you know, it was.
Yeah, it was comfortable.
It was comfortable.
I like this bike.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, he's telling
It feels like it has a little zoom.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got more pickup than Dorco. Yeah.
Well, we're not overloaded at this moment in time.
No, but I mean, there's like 100cc less, and you know, there probably is 100 to 200 pounds less too. But smaller is better sometimes.
Yeah, this is fun. I like this bike.
Yeah.
Well, it was comfortable as far as the suspension goes, but it was very squished for both of us.
Yes.
That top box was just digging right into my spine. And so I wore Tim's backpack as a cushion to protect me against the top box. But that didn't make it any less squished for us.
It did have some pretty nice aggressive tires on it, which was cool. And when we went through some gravel construction bits, yeah, there was no slipping, there was no sliding. It was a really nice, comfortable ride. I was just overwhelmed by how awesome this little silly bike was doing.
I know.
In comparison to what my fears were, especially riding behind somebody on a GS 1200, you know?
Yes.
You could still
I'm
see.
just really impressed with this motorcycle.
Yeah.
And one of the best things about riding on this 150 was I was really, really concerned that we were going to be just left behind in the dust and unable to keep up.
Yeah.
But even with these huge stretches of open highway where you could just really go as fast as you wanted to, we were keeping up.
Going faster than we are on Dorco. Look at that. 85. Cruising, folks.
Oh man.
We're doing 100. We're only in 5th gear. We got a whole nother gear to burn through.
We're doing 85, 90, breaking 100 kilometers. You know, I mean, when you're on something that small, it's like you're breaking the speed barrier, the sound barrier. It was just not like the whole thing convulsing. You know, it was it was definitely a smooth ride, and I was ecstatic.
Soon enough, we arrived at Tasik Biru, or Blue Lake.
I'm backing it up into these tiny little spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is just manhandleable. I could have like picked it up and moved it. It was really small. It was really maneuverable. Marissa could get on and off really, really
Super easily. Oh, I was loving it.
Yeah, and I had a little bonus basket in front, which was nice, where I kept my camera.
Did you have a little bell that goes ding ding?
No, well, I should have got a little bell. Should have got a little bell.
That was fun. So we got our tickets and we got ready to go see the Blue Lake. Tasik Biru is a special lake, one that has an unusually blue-green tint to it due to the arsenic deposits from being a former gold mine. It's a man-made lake that was originally an open gold mining pit that was started in 1820 by the Hakka Chinese. By 1920, mining efforts were abandoned when this 91-meter deep pit flooded with water.
It's an old gold mine, and apparently there's a bunch of arsenic in it, and like the water is like, you don't swim in it, you don't eat the fish in it, but there's these huge koi that everywhere, and they sell you these little fish pebbles for nothing.
Yeah, you get to feed the fish.
But what I don't understand is I just don't understand how these fish survive in this water of just, acid.
Yeah, it is really weird, but since they don't eat the fish grow to be huge.
Yeah. Was a nice little, area to survey, but I was really excited to get back on the road and head to this kilometer zero mark.
Yes, we had a long day with a lot of miles to cover before getting to the 0 point, but that was a really great rest stop for us, and just such a beautiful area with those green mountains, so jaggedy, really pretty.
So once we were back on the bike, we got onto like the major highway, which was something that we weren't able to do in Indonesia. Nice roads, no potholes, no mortar fire.
Amazing highway.
And we're cruising, folks.
Now in Indonesia, the reason why we couldn't go on the highways is because motorcycles...
Our bike would have blown up. It was like the hydrogen collider, or whatever that thing is. Did a God particle. Me and Marissa would have just...
No, motorcycles are not allowed on highways, which is good because then we wouldn't have blown up.
Yes, and it was just nice to kind of leapfrog back and forth with Lee. He would zoom up ahead of us, and he'd take some cool footage of us, and then we'd pass him.
It was such a good feeling to be back on a motorcycle, on gorgeous roads, seeing gorgeous scenery with a really good friend. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, does it?
Yeah.
We stopped for lunch at this little seafood restaurant that Lee had recommended.
It had seafood?
Yes, now he didn't know that Tim is not a seafood eating person. Yes.
A seafood eating person. They had chicken and stuff too. Pretty much everywhere has chicken and rice. So it was good for them, you know, to eat their. Marissa had like soft shell crab.
Yeah, it was my first time having soft shell crab.
This is my nightmare.
Okay, so we are on the coast of Malaysia and they have all sorts of different seafood here, and this particular restaurant is famous for its crab. And I am not used to eating crab. I think I've had it once in my life and I think I was a child. I don't know how to eat it. Tim is not going to partake because he is not a seafood eater.
Well, I don't mind crab, quite honestly, but like Joe's Crab Shack crab, like king crab, Alaskan crab.
They have larger crabs.
Not gonna happen.
But the one I'm gonna have is a small crab. So take a look here. This is the crab.
You want the soft one, right?
The soft one.
Yeah.
Soft
Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do?
One bite.
Yeah. One bite.
Yep.
Yeah. You try one.
One bite.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So if I just break off a leg, I can eat it? Okay. Oh yeah. It's so good. There's nothing crabby about it.
Go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like
this is the soft one.
It's like a big nugget. Does it taste like crab cake?
Tastes a little salty and fried. That's always good. It's actually quite delicious. And it doesn't taste like I'm eating any hard shell of anything. Very soft. All you guys out there who normally eat soft shell crab are like, what is the big deal?
2.5 minutes of eating crab here. Amazing.
So this day was turning out to completely change our minds about small motorcycles. They can be incredibly fast, easily maneuverable, and overall enjoyable to ride, even for two people. But before we headed back on the road, we found out that there's one problem that the 150cc motorcycle does have, and it's that the gas tank is very small.
It's 1.5 gallons. That's only 6 liters.
Yeah, that's nothing. But Lee's on his 1200 GS that he filled with gas like last September. You know, I mean, it's just a gas tank wrapped around an engine.
So we could have gone to a gas station, but Lee was like, oh no, I have some extra gas here and I'll just fill it up real quick. And he even made a little makeshift funnel out of a water bottle.
Yeah.
But soon enough, we were off again and headed to Kilometer 0.
Or mile 0 for our American friends.
Yes.
Don't want anybody to get confused. Successfully on a 150,
Woo-hoo!
2 up, mildly loaded, with a good buddy of ours. We made it all the way to Kilometer 0, which was an exciting place because in our minds and our hopes and our dreams, we would be connecting that with the next furthest point of the Pan-Borneo highway.
Yes. Now, Kilometer 0 is the beginning of the tip-to-tip route, which goes from this point to this other tip that shoots way up in the northeast on the island of Borneo. And this is a long route. Borneo is huge.
It is.
Borneo is the 3rd largest island on Earth after Greenland and Papua. So it is a massive landmass. You don't think that you're covering these long distances in Southeast Asia, but you really are when you're on the island of Borneo.
Here we are, 0 kilometers of Teluk Melangau.
The tip-to-tip route and the Pan-Borneo Highway stretches all the way into the state of Sabah and ends in Tawau, a total of 2,100 kilometers or 1,300 miles. That's more than a third of the way across the United States.
I'm gonna put the sticker on.
Oh yeah,
What do you think?
next to the KTM range.
That makes sense.
Kilometer zero.
Kilometer zero.
Or is it mile zero?
It's both. When it's zero, it's meter
Yeah.
zero,
Ooh,
kilometer
that's
zero,
where they merge,
yard
right?
zero. Yeah.
But for a ride back to Kuching, Lee had a very special surprise in store for us, swapping out the Honda 150 for his BMW GS 1200. Okay, so Lee has suggested that we switch motorcycles. So Tim's getting on the GS right now.
It's not often that you go from like the little piddly-wink to like the grand, you know, the biggest thing. So we were super excited to go from something so small to something so large in the same day.
You've got there's an e-brake on it, so if you're in first gear.
But that will all be in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Ding ding! And we'll be seeing you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
And I know that the holiday season is coming up really quickly. So if you're still looking for presents to give that motorcycle loving person or that person in your life who just loves adventures, you should check out Tim's 3 books that he wrote about art
Yes,
adventures.
Indeed, we'll actually throw a link below for a little shop on our website that has some t-shirts.
Yes.
It's got some stickers, some coffee mugs. It's got the 3 books we've written. So just to spread a little bit of traveling joy to friends, family, adventurous souls. We'd love for you to check that out. Join us on our adventures as we meander around the world.
Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Peace.
And there was Bumblebee.
Yeah, there was, well, Bumblebee-esque. There was a transformer in a suit, and then there's this big blow-up Yeti guy. His special maneuver was just to stand there.
Yeah, he couldn't do it.
He was just a dude in a suit that just was like, give me money, and he'd take a picture next to me. Bumblebee was interactive.
Yeah,
with a fist
he was
bump and was
definitely active.
But the guy in the gorilla suit blown up was just there.